Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today in this video we are going to learn about urinary bladder. Urinary bladder is a very important essay question in your first year MBBS examinations. So let us learn it very carefully. To start the video, I am going to tell you some subheadings under which we are going to learn the urinary bladder. The first subheading under which we are going to learn the urinary bladder is external features. Under external features, we are going to learn the location of the urinary bladder, the size of the urinary bladder, the shape of the urinary bladder, its different borders, its different shapes, etc. Then we will learn the relations of the urinary bladder. Under this subheading, we are going to learn the different body organs which are related to the urinary bladder anteriorly, posteriorly, laterally, etc. Then we are going to learn the ligaments of the urinary bladder which are related to the urinary bladder, like medial umbilical ligament. Then we'll see the blood supply and nerve supply of the urinary bladder, and at last we will see some clinical points related to the urinary bladder. Now let us start with external features of the urinary bladder. To start external features, we should know what a urinary bladder is. A urinary bladder is a muscular organ present in our pelvic cavity anteriorly. This muscular organ is used to store urine in our body. Now, what is pelvic cavity and how is it actually present? The pelvic cavity in our body is formed by the two hip bones and sacrum posteriorly. The pelvic cavity, which is formed by the two hip bones and sacrum posteriorly, has two parts, an anterior part and an posterior part. So this urinary bladder is located in the anterior part of the pelvic cavity. Now, that is behind the pubic symphysis. Okay. Behind the pubic symphysis, there is a urinary bladder present. Now coming to a very important external feature of the urinary bladder, that is shape of the urinary bladder. The shape of the urinary bladder is basically the urinary bladder is having basically two shapes, that is in tetrahedral shape and an ovoid shape. When urinary bladder is empty, it is present in a tetrahedral shape, and when urinary bladder is filled with urine, it is ovoid in shape. This tetrahedral shape of the urinary bladder is very important because it has following features. So the tetrahedral shape of the urinary bladder has basically three parts: an apex which points upwards and forwards, that is anteriorly, and a base which is present posteriorly. This base is a flat surface and apex is like apex. So it is basically a triangle. The apex points forwards and anteriorly, and the base points backwards, and the neck which is present inferiorly. Then this bladder, tetrahedral shaped bladder, has three surfaces. The first surface is the superior surface, and the two surfaces are infralateral surfaces which are present laterally and they are pointing inferiorly. The superior surface is directed towards the abdominal cavity, and the two infralateral surfaces are directed towards the sides. Then it has four borders. The first border is anterior border, and the second border is posterior border, and two lateral borders. The anterior border runs from the apex of the urinary bladder till the neck, and the posterior border are lining the above part of the base. And the two lateral border, they run from the apex of the bladder, that is from the apex to the posterior border. So basically the tetrahedral urinary bladder has four borders. Now coming to the ovoid shape urinary bladder. Ovoid shape urinary bladder doesn't have any borders because it is completely filled with the urine. So it has an apex and a neck, and it has two surfaces, that is the anterior surface which is directed forwards, and the posterior surface which is directed backwards. Okay. So now coming to the relations. Before that, you can see in the diagram that the superior surface is directed upwards towards the abdominal cavity and base is directed backwards. You can see all the features very clearly in the diagram. Now coming to the relations of the urinary bladder. Urinary bladder has many relations. Each and every part has different relations. So the apex of the urinary bladder is related to a ligament known as median umbilical ligament. This ligament is an obliterated embryonic urachus. So in our embryo we have a part called urachus which is obliterated in our adult life, and it forms median umbilical ligament. This ligament connects the apex of the urinary bladder to the umbilicus of our body. Now coming to the relations of the base of the urinary bladder. The base of the urinary bladder is basically related to different parts in females and in males. In females, the base of the urinary bladder, which is present posteriorly, is related to cervix and vagina, and in males it is related to some structures in its upper part and some structures in its lower part. So the structures which are related to the upper part of the base of the urinary bladder of a male are nothing but rectovesical pouch and coils of intestine. What is rectovesical pouch? Rectovesical pouch is a fold of peritoneum which is present between the urinary bladder and the rectum. And in its lower part, the urinary bladder is related to rectovesical fascia of Denain-Villiers. So this fascia is basically arising from the rectovesical pouch and it is reaching the perineal body. Okay, now the superior surface. The relations of the superior surface are also different in females and males. The superior surface is related to sigmoid colon and ileum in males, and it is covered completely by the peritoneum, and in females it is related to supravaginal part of cervix. In females, this part that is supravaginal part of cervix, which is related to the superior surface of the urinary bladder, is not covered by peritoneum. Now coming to the relations of the infralateral surfaces. The infralateral surfaces are the surfaces which are present laterally and inferiorly. They are related to following things. First one, the pubis of the hip bone, puboprostatic ligament, which is shown in the green color in the diagram. Then retropubic fascia, which is shown in the yellow color in the diagram. Then levator ani muscle and obturator internal muscle. Okay, obturator internal muscle is shown in the orange color in the diagram. The levator ani muscles, the muscle forms the pelvic diaphragm, therefore it is related to the infralateral surfaces of the urinary bladder. Okay, now coming to the neck of the urinary bladder, which is the most fixed part of the urinary bladder. The neck of the urinary bladder is basically related to different parts in males and in females. In males, it is related to proximal urethral sphincter, which forms the proximal urethral sphincter mechanism. It is nothing but a muscle actually. And in females, it is related to pelvic fascia. Okay, so in this picture you can see the relations of the infralateral surfaces and base of the urinary bladder. You can see the relations of the base of the urinary bladder, that is fascia of Denain-Villiers and rectovesical pouch of peritoneum. Okay, so this was about the relations of the urinary bladder. Now coming to ligaments which are related to the urinary bladder. So urinary bladder is basically related to two types of ligaments. The first one are true ligaments and the second ones are false ligaments. What are true ligaments? The true ligaments are the ligaments which provide actual support to the urinary bladder to stay in its position. Otherwise the urinary bladder will move here and there. These true ligaments are formed from the pelvic fascia. So there are basically 5 true ligaments related to the urinary bladder. The first one is medial puboprostatic ligament. The medial puboprostatic ligament is attached to the tendinous arch of the pubic bone. The medial puboprostatic ligament is related anteriorly to the tendinous arch of the pubic bone of the hip bone or the pubis of the hip bone and to the prostatic sheath. Backwards to the prostatic sheath, that is anteriorly to the tendinous arch of the pubic bone and posteriorly to the prostatic sheath covering the prostate gland. Okay. And the second one is The second one is lateral puboprostatic ligament. So this is also the puboprostatic ligament which is present little laterally to the medial puboprostatic ligament. It is also attached to the tendinous arch of the pubic bone or the tendinous arch of the pubis of the hip bone and prostatic sheath covering the prostate gland. The third true ligament is lateral true ligament. It is attached to the tendinous arch of the pubic bone and to the pelvic fascia and on the side of the bladder, posteriorly to the side of the bladder, anteriorly to the tendinous arch of the pubic bone and pelvic fascia and posteriorly to the side of the urinary bladder. Okay, since it is attached to the side and therefore we can say it is a lateral true ligament. The fourth one is medial umbilical ligament. I told you medial umbilical ligament is an remnant of the embryonic urachus and it is attached to the apex and it connects apex of the urinary bladder to the umbilicus of the body. The fifth one is posterior ligament. This posterior ligament is a true ligament and it is attached to following structures. So the posterior ligament is obviously present posteriorly, therefore it is attached to the base of the bladder because base of the bladder is also present posteriorly. So before it is attached to the base of the bladder and then it is attached to the pelvic wall or wall of the pelvic cavity. So posterior ligament you can see in the picture also, it is attached to the base of the urinary bladder, that is posteriorly, and then to the wall of the pelvic cavity. Okay, then coming to false ligaments. The false ligaments are mere peritoneal folds. They are formed of peritoneum and they are just folds of the peritoneum. Therefore, they do not provide major structural support to the urinary bladder. But then since they are related to the urinary bladder, we study these ligaments under the urinary bladder. Okay, so these ligaments are median umbilical ligament, medial umbilical ligament. Remember, median umbilical ligament is separate from the medial umbilical ligament. Lateral false ligament, medial false ligament. Okay, so there is a lateral false ligament, medial false ligament, medial umbilical ligament and median umbilical ligament. These were the false ligaments related to the urinary bladder. They are just falls of the peritoneum of the abdomen and they do not provide any support to the urinary bladder like true ligaments. Okay. Now coming to very important point, that is blood supply of the urinary bladder. The urinary bladder has different blood supplies in males and in females. The urinary bladder in males is supplied by superior and inferior vesical arteries. The superior and inferior vesical arteries are the branches of the anterior trunk of the internal iliac artery. So, internal iliac artery is a branch of the abdominal aorta. So, abdominal aorta divides into common iliac artery, which divides into anterior and internal and external iliac artery. This internal iliac artery divides into an anterior trunk and an posterior trunk, and this anterior trunk gives two branches, superior vesical branch and inferior vesical branch. Okay, they supply the urinary bladder in males. In females, the urinary bladder has following nerve supply: superior vesical artery, uterine artery and vaginal artery. Again, all of these are branches of internal iliac artery. Now coming to the venous drainage of the urinary bladder. So the urinary bladder drains all its blood into the venous plexus, which is present in the posterior ligament, and this plexus again drains all the blood into internal iliac vein. Now coming to the nerve supply of the urinary bladder. The urinary bladder has autonomic nerve supply and somatic nerve supply. The autonomic nerve supply, that is sympathetic and parasympathetic nerve supply to the urinary bladder, is given by T11 and L2 segments of the spinal cord, and parasympathetic nerve supply is given by the S2, S3 and S4 segments of the spinal cord. The somatic nerve supply to the urinary bladder is given to the external urethral sphincter or sphincter urethrae through pudendal nerve. Pudendal nerve has root value of S2 and S4 and it is a branch of a sacral plexus. Okay. Now coming to the lymphatic drainage of the urinary bladder. The urinary bladder drains its lymph into external iliac nodes mostly, and rarely into internal iliac nodes. Okay, now coming to the clinical anatomy related to urinary bladder. The interior of the urinary bladder can be examined by a tube known as cystoscope. This is known as bladder examination. So urinary bladder can be examined with the help of a tube known as cystoscope. The second one is suprapubic cystotomy. Suprapubic cystotomy is a surgical procedure in which the urinary bladder, when it is distended with more than 300 ml of urine, it can be approached through the anterior abdominal wall without entering the peritoneal cavity. So when the urinary bladder is filled with more than 300 ml of urine, it can be approached directly through the anterior abdominal wall without entering the peritoneal cavity, and the surgical procedure, the cystotomy, can be done. Okay, so these were the two important clinical points related to the urinary bladder. Thank you for watching the video. If you like the video, please share the video, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to hit the like button. Thank you. Bye.